What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kletus Ray's Roadside Service. Tell you what, I'm trying to record right now because I kind of feel okay. I'm jacked up right now. I got all kinds of shit flowing through my system. No drug, I mean, they're all medicines, I guess, kind of, but man, I got a lot to talk about, but damn, I was not expecting to wake up feeling the way I felt. I mean, everybody's sick at the house. I've been feeling pretty sick at the house, but I woke up today with a toothache, which I haven't had a toothache in a long fucking time. It was a real pain in the ass. Oh, I forgot to get chew. I knew I was missing something. We'll be fine. We'll stop again. um, No, I woke up on time. Everything was growing great, but I was just like not feeling it. I drove the truck today, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But as of right now, I don't know. I took an Advil. I waited until I got to work, thinking, because I don't like taking medicine as soon as I notice I don't feel good. A lot of the times it'll clear up pretty quickly. As I wake up and start moving around and breathing fresh air and whatnot. Drinking some water. Try to clear it up with water first. Always, I always do. I mean, can't speak for everybody else in my household, but anytime somebody else is like, I think I might have a headache, they're already taking medicines and shit. I'm like, nope. I will suffer for hours with a headache before I take medicine. Just because I think it might go away, even though I don't know, it'll usually go away eventually. But no, I woke up today with a fucking toothache, congested as hell. My daughter ended up sleeping in the bed with us last night because she's been getting sick and whatnot. Um, so probably not a great idea. I should have probably slept in a different room, I guess, maybe. Because, I mean, my wife can be sick, that's fine. Uh, I don't need to be sick. I need to work as much as possible. But I actually feel okay right now. It is 9:30 in the morning. I started at 6, so we're fully into the workday. But I took a ibu or not a ibu, but a aspirin. Took an aspirin, thinking, all right, let's let that wait for a little bit. And my toothache is like one of my molars on the top row is kind of crooked, and obviously it's crooked because the other teeth are pushing it out of the way or whatever. So I don't know. I was like, if I just had a little flosser, I think I could like floss in between that tooth a bunch of times, and maybe it will like kind of relieve some pressure. I don't know. It was dumb. It did help a little bit. It felt a little bit better. I mean, I brushed my teeth and shit. Like I didn't have a bunch of gunk and shit in my teeth, but just putting that little floss in between the teeth kind of moved it around a little bit. Did ease a little bit of pressure, but it still fucking hurt. And then I kept driving down the road. I had bought a 5-hour energy. I worked over the weekend. I thought I might need a 5-hour energy to make it home because I worked night shift. But the night shift didn't last that long, so I didn't take it because I didn't want to be up all night, all Saturday night. But I was congested as hell then too. Um, so I took a 5-hour energy today. Also, after the aspirin, probably an hour after the aspirin, I was like, man, I am fucking drowsy. I got a good night of sleep. Well, maybe not a great night of sleep. I mean, I was fully asleep for at least 4 hours, and that's pretty good. It's better than a lot of the other times. It's all my fault, but um, took a 5-hour energy because I was like, man, I'm so fucking drowsy. My fucking head hurts and shit. At least I can just, Take this and stay awake. Took that, waited a little bit, still tired. So I just stopped off at this truck stop here, my second stop on my way up to Des Moines, and went in and grabbed me this little, like, it's a Dayquil Severe shot. It's a little, like, single serving shot or whatever, and got me a high caffeinated coffee here too, and chugged that or took that little shot or whatever, and dude, it was like immediate. I don't know if it's like the minty flavor of it or whatever, or like, I don't know, but it perked me wide up. Now I feel the 5 hour energy. I feel the and then I'm hoping that's going to help my congestion a little bit. Because I mean, just wearing this headset, the little bit of pressure on my ear fucking hurts. It feels like I have a sore throat, a toothache, congestion, an ear infection, and a headache. My eyes kind of hurt. Like, man, am I taking a day off? No, man. If I went to the doctor, I probably would, but I'm not going to no doctor. They don't know nothing, do they? Maybe they do. Maybe they'd be able to help me out. I don't know. They usually, I don't know. It seems like I go to the doctor and they're just like, "Oh, you're fine. Just take these pills." I'm like, "Hey, I don't want to take fucking pills. I want you to like do something actual." I mean, they did do surgery on me recently, but that was kind of they gave me pills before that. They're like, "Take these pills. You'll be fine." I wasn't fine. I don't know. I'm not griping about doctors though. I just don't feel good today, guys. But I tell you what, after that Dayquil severe shot or whatever the fuck that thing was, I'm perked back up. I'm ready to fucking do some shit. I ran out of chew. That's unfortunate, but this is a pretty fresh dip, so we'll hold on to this for a little bit longer. I brought my lunch with me today. Hell yeah, dude. So I was like, man, what do I want for lunch? And uh, I've been buying these wraps and stuff from all different truck stops and whatnot. I'm like, these are pretty fucking delicious. I bet you I could make one way fucking better. So I ended up, kind of copying some ingredients from one of my favorite wraps and then adding some other stuff. I got all kinds of good shit. The only thing is I forgot a fucking spoon or a knife or something to spread some mayonnaise. And it's going to be kind of hard to make a wrap in my truck, but I don't know. It'll be all right. My plan was to buy all these ingredients and then pre-make them, and then before I eat them or whatever, I would need to add some of this like submarine sandwich oil stuff. Uh, I don't know. I kind of like a little oil. I went to Good Sense the other day and they put oil on my sandwich, and it just, I don't know. It's like something about it. So fucking good. But I was like, man, I'm so drowsy already, and my tooth fucking hurts. I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking eat today. And I still might not, I don't know. But I finally did bring my lunch with me, which is good. I drove the truck, and that was kind of another thing that I kind of figured I was gonna need to do. I gotta drive the truck to work one day to bring all my lunch supplies, and then I can stash all my lunch supplies at the shop somewhere. And then so whenever I ride the motorcycle, I don't have to, you know, transfer my fucking cooler and shit every day or whatever. I can just, as I run out of ingredients, I can just throw something in my backpack and take it to work immediately, throw it in the cooler. It'll be good. Um, On to the fun stuff, which I posted up a YouTube video last night, kind of late last night, but I finally got all the parts installed on the dirt bike, everything that I've ordered. I still got some more stuff I'm probably going to order. They're just not as important right now. But guys, I am so fucking happy. My uncle was able, Sunday morning, he was like, I'll help you with your tires. So Saturday, I kind of sat around the house most of the day until it was time to get going to work. I had to leave the house at like 4:30. I did make a new license plate bracket last night. It's just a piece of plastic. I had old bed liner pieces from my 92, just like that thick, heavy-duty plastic or whatever, and I just cut a little, I don't know, rectangular piece out with a little tab, and now it's bolted onto my fender. I think it looks better than the original license plate bracket that was on here, so I like it. That's about all I did on Saturday. And then on Sunday, yeah, me and my boy, we went over to my uncle's house. I took the wheels off of the dirt bike and took them all the way over to his house. And, my son was happy. He was able to help me he was basically spraying the soapy water while I was doing all the other stuff. And my uncle was coaching me along. And, man, I'll tell you what, that rear tire, taking the old tires off was way harder than putting the new tires on. And the new tires are way more stout than those other old tires, but I don't know what it was. They were like glued to the rim. It was like we could barely get it off the bead. We had C-clamps on it. I was stomping on it. I was like, man, what good is it being heavy? I thought I missed my turn for a second. I don't think I did. I think I'm good. No, I didn't miss my turn. I don't know. I got the fucking tire done. It's pretty good. Or got both tires, and we were able to reuse the same tubes, which was nice. No pinching of the tubes, no nothing, but it freaks you out. So with the tube tire, you're spraying a bunch of fucking soapy water in there, and then whenever you go to air it up, because the tube is deflated inside the tire, once you get it kind of in there and everything's ready to go, you put air to it, and that tube inflates and it shoves all that water and soapy and air and all that stuff out any crevices and shit. And so you're like, oh shit, there's a fucking hole in here, but there's not. It's just all the air that was inside the tire, in between the tire and the tube, escaping, and there's a lot of soapy water and whatnot. But we got it good. A lot of places they use powder. And I think the powder, I don't know what would be better. Because I feel like that soapy water, eventually that shit will evaporate or soak into the rubber or whatever it does. And then it'll kind of glue the fucking tube to the tire, which I don't know if you want it kind of stuck to the tire or if you want to put powder in there and then the tire and the tube can kind of rub friction together. I don't know. I don't know which one's better, but I don't know. I think it'll be fine. The front tube is a heavy-duty tube. The rear tube, it didn't seem like a normal tube. It seemed a little thicker, but that's one that I haven't had to mess with. That rear tire's never leaked, never had any issues with it, other than wearing it out. But I got the new Tusk D Sports mounted on there. Everything's great with them. They sat up real good, and they look awesome. And then I went home, and then I had to kind of hang out with the kids. My wife had some stuff she had to go do, so I didn't go down in the garage. My daughter was all sick and shit, so I hung out with her upstairs with the dogs and my boy. And then eventually she came back home, and then I was able to go down in the garage and spend the rest of the night down in the garage at my leisure. she's like, well, what do you got to do? I'm like, well, I got to put the wheels back on the dirt bike, and then I got to put the starter motor. I got to take the exhaust off, and then I got to put the starter cover on, and then put the new exhaust on. And I don't know how long that shit's gonna take. You know, there's videos on how to do all this stuff, and they're all about 3 minutes a piece. But I think it's gonna take a little longer for me to do this shit. And I did not realize that putting the rear tire back on was going to be such a pain in the fucking ass, dude. First off, the brake was kind of in the way. I didn't realize that how the brake worked. It's on a bracket that slides on the swing arm. I got this marine grease that I used to use for RC cars. Like, you would slather it all over your ECU and shit. So if you drove through mud or water or whatever, that marine grease would just repel all the water, and it would keep your electronics safe and whatnot. Learned that from RC Sparks Studios. Is a guy that plays with RC cars all the time. I don't know. He got sick a while back. I don't know. I don't even know if he's still around or not. But I used to watch him a lot back in the day when I started out didn't start out playing with RC cars. Whenever I bought my own little RC cars and I started making models and mounting the models to the RC cars, and it was a fun time. I had a whole like office set up, and all I did was go in there and build RC cars. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that time of my life. But once we moved into this house, the shit kind of got packed up and never unpacked. So I haven't really messed with too many RC cars at this house. I do have an RC square body that I want to replicate my square body with. Um, it's a 1/18 scale, 4-wheel drive. Looks pretty fucking cool. People sell the Steelies that I got. They sell tires that will go on there, and I can replicate my truck pretty fucking close. You know, the tires might not be the exact right size, but I don't know. Anyways, I got this marine grease, and I looked it up, and it's got like it's like marine grease is fucking good for anything. Like, it's a great grease to have. And luckily I was able to find my old tube of marine grease, and I went through and greased all the axles and everything that needed a little bit of lube to go back together. Got everything cleaned up, and I sprayed some of this Freol shit, or I don't know, it's like citrusy smelling, and it'll like remove like sticky residue and grease and all kinds of shit. So use that to clean up a bunch of my parts, put everything back together. That rear swing arm and wheel, tire, and brake rotor and brake caliper and that shit. It was kind of hard because there's a little spacer that you have to get in there also, and then you got shit moving, and it was a pain in the ass. I did not realize how much of a pain in the ass it is to put the rear wheel back together, but I got it. It took a little bit. Got that back on there. The bike did not really, that stand that I got, the bike did not really, it was wobbly as hell with both wheels off, and it just kind of floating there. I was like, God damn, this thing's about to fall the fuck over. Just start with the front, because the front touches the ground whenever I lift it up. And so start with that one, and that'll kind of stabilize it, triangulation. And then worked on the rear. Got everything put back together, got the chain tightened back up. And then I took the whole exhaust system all the way off of the bike. Surprisingly, all the bolts came loose. I got some anti-seize. I put some anti-seize on some of them old looking bolts to make sure if I ever have to take that shit apart again, it's not going to rust all back together. And that header pipe, my grandpa had modified that header pipe a long time ago. So that's a that's a really nice header pipe. The only thing I didn't realize is whenever I took it off, I was looking at the end where the mid pipe connects, and it looked like there was just some flaky rust inside there. And I was like, oh, I'll clean that rust out. So I grabbed my razor blade and I was just picking at it. No, that's exhaust, like an exhaust gasket shit. It's like a steel wool looking thing, and it's like all woven together, and but it just been bolted on there since 1999, so it kind of looked like it was rust, but it was actually an exhaust gasket, and I fucked it all up. I tried to put it back and tried to keep it nice and tried to fit the mid pipe in there, but I had fucked it up too much. The mid pipe did not fit. And I was like, God damn it, dude. What the fuck did I do? Why did I do this? So I had the mid pipe once I removed that whole gasket thing out of there, and then I put the mid pipe in there. I was like, I'll just tighten it a little tighter. No, you can't tighten it any tighter. It was loose as a goose in there. It was falling out. I was like, well, I'm definitely gonna have an exhaust leak there. And then where one of the bolts is supposed to connect, well, the bolts aren't long enough. Um, and I was just having some problems. And then I got the muffler mounted, and then the mid pipe, and then even the springs that hold the slip-on muffler on were like 2 inches long, and I had an 8-inch span that I had to hook. And I was like, these springs aren't gonna fucking do shit, dude. Like this is fucked. Like I am upset at at this. I was like, God damn it! I don't want to put the original exhaust back on, but even if I do that, it's gonna have a fucking exhaust leak now because I fucked up that gasket. But no, well, before I get into the exhaust and how I completed it, while I had the header off, that's where you can access the starter. So they normally want you to remove the side panels, which I already had the side panels off, remove the seat, remove the tank, remove the oil line for the oil cooler, remove the cam chain tensioner, remove the clutch cable. Then you can unhook the starter and unbolt it, and then pull it out, and then replace whatever parts you need to do, and also do an inspection in there. And I was like, I don't want to uninstall anything if I don't have to. I was feeling kind of lazy, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I got plenty of room that I can get the cap off of the back of the starter and wiggle it around and get it out. And I was actually able to do that. It was a little bit more of a pain in the ass, and if I would have just not been a lazy fat fuck and just taken the fucking tank off, everything would have worked out way easier. But it is possible to get that starter end cap off without removing. I had to remove the header and the clutch cable and unhook one side of the oil line, and then bend the oil line just so slightly up, and I was able to wiggle that shit out and wiggle the new one in there, and I put grease on it and got it all bolted back together. I did cuss a little bit. It was kind of hard to get that shit lining up back again, but got it all put back together. I tested the starter. It works out real good. I actually forgot that I had the exhaust off. I was like, oh, I just want to make sure the starter still works. It fired right the fuck up, and I had no fucking muffler on there at all. It was just cylinder head to atmosphere. It was like it sounded bubbly and shit. So I was like, oh shit. But then I started working on the muffler. That's when I ran into all those problems. Uh, the way I solved the problems was I have some HVAC tape, some metal tape for taping ductwork and whatnot. And I just took that tape and I wrapped it around that mid pipe tail a bunch of times until I got it to the right odometer, outer diameter, uh, where it would fit snug inside the header. and then I could tighten it down. And then I got to the muffler, and I totally forgot that the muffler has that little tailpiece. The little cone-shaped tailpiece is for you to go to a smaller exhaust pipe. You can I didn't realize you could remove that little cone-shaped piece out, and the muffler slipped right on perfectly. The springs I think you're supposed to. I don't know. But I had to stretch the springs out a little bit, and then they were easy. I just had to stretch them like another half inch, and then they were able to slip right on. I pulled it outside. I fired that bitch up. It sounded fucking awesome. And then I pulled it back in the garage and kind of cleaned everything up. Well, I didn't clean anything up really. My garage is still a fucking mess. But then I was like, oh, I'm gonna record a video real quick because I haven't done a walk around with the DR. I mean, I've talked about it quite a bit, and I got a couple of videos up of me riding it, but it's a totally different bike than what it was in any of those videos. I mean, it's just so fucking nice now. I cannot wait to ride that fucking thing again. I just didn't want to ride it this morning because I had just done all this work to it, and they're fresh tires, and it was a little bit wet outside still because it rained on Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. So it was like brand new tires in the rain, knobbies, and I just did all this exhaust work and everything. I might have forgot to bolt something up, and I didn't want to ride it around the neighborhood last night because it was late. Didn't want to piss off the neighbors. So I was like, I'm just gonna drive the truck, and that worked out in my favor because I had to bring my cooler and everything. But I don't want the bike like something mess up on it. Something's not tight enough. Something's messed up. I don't know. I don't know what it would be. But I didn't want to find out halfway on my way to work that what I did was something I did wrong or whatever. I don't think I did anything wrong. I think it's going to run just fine. Everything's going to be great. But obviously, I'm a fucking maniac, and sometimes I forget to tighten something up. It's like that oil line. I made sure I tightened up that oil line, but what if I do need to snug it up a little bit more? And I make it halfway to work, and I ran it. I got oil all over my boot, and the fucking thing's overheating, and ran it clear out of oil. And if that thing runs out of oil, everything is going bad. So, um, my plan is today, whenever I get off of work, I'm going to go home. If I feel good, which I feel fine right now, but I might not feel fine later, I need to ride it around the block a few times, get it hot, make sure everything's going to be good, make sure that muffler isn't going to leak, even though it's not leaking right now and everything feels tight. I might need to add some more of that tape to it to seal it up even more and to get a bigger bite on it. Maybe something will rattle and I need to, strap it down or figure something, get a longer bolt or something. Because right now it's not mounted. At where the mid pipe and the header mount, there's a bolt that you're supposed to mount it to the frame right there, but the bolts that I have aren't long enough. It came with spacers, which is great, but all the bolts that I got, none of them were long enough. So I'll be back after I get loaded here. Man, oh man, I think that shit. What is this shit called? Damn, this is some good shit. Dayquil, severe cold and flu, fast relief. 1 dose, 1 ounce, little bottle. Holy shit, this shit's fucking. I mean, I still don't feel great, but I those wraps. I made a wrap for lunch or whatever, and the tortilla was sitting on my ice pack. So like a cold tortilla, sometimes you wear yourself out biting through them motherfuckers. Especially with whenever I add I got 3 types of meat. I got roast beef, ham, and turkey, but I got that real good smoked peppered turkey or whatever. Oh God, it's some good shit. I put a lot of meat on there. Had like a little cherry tomatoes because I don't want to slice real tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes are pretty good. It's like a little salad, like a little chef salad wrapped up. Uh, anyways, biting through them cold tortillas, thick ass meat, all that good shit will wear out your teeth, and I was able to eat through that whole thing. My tooth is actually starting to not hurt anymore, which is crazy. And I don't know if it's something to do with that cold and flu shit, but I'm just feeling better altogether. Although my back does kind of fucking hurt, but my back has been hurting in a certain spot ever since I got surgery. Really, I think it's because I've been laying on it wrong. Because before I had surgery, I've been laying on my side the whole time, and my right side mainly, and uh, I still haven't really recovered from that, I guess. Because my fucking back, it'll feel fine, and then all of a sudden it'll start hurting, and it's a pain in the ass, but whatever. Anyways, got loaded, no problems there. I had to wait for some people to move out of the way, but I can only imagine what that fucking idiot, gap-toothed, dumbass bitch that used to work for us would have done over here. He's a fucking asshole. He was about to lose our client, is what he was doing. The guy that we just fired on Friday, and I took over his job on Friday, and then all of this week running up here to Des Moines, and yeah, he was about to lose us a client. They were about to say, hey, we can find somebody else to come out here and do this shit if you're gonna send this fucking dumbass motherfucker out here to piss us off and whatnot. Anyways, got loaded. Everything's great. It's actually a little bit light load compared to normal. I only weigh 72, so that's cool. Maybe I won't. My back is already hurting, so offloading these totes, I gotta wheel them out. Now, I try to not use a whole lot of muscles when I do it. Try to use gravity and steering to kind of help out whenever I'm offloading these damn totes. The first one and the last one are always the worst. But so last Friday, whenever I got to the landfill, I got there at 3 o'clock. They're open. The landfill is technically open till 6 o'clock, but these fucking guys that run I'm friends with one of them, but they love to leave early every day. Uh, they leave. They're like, we leave at 3. I'm like, why? Why the fuck you leaving at 3, dude? How about you stay open till the landfill stays open? Like, shouldn't that be like your hours of operation? Like, if I'm able to show up at the landfill and dump something, I should be able to dump anything. But these fucking guys are like, we leave at 3. So they left at 3 last time, and I didn't talk to the boss guy. I talked to my friend, and he's like, oh, yeah, we got trucks. They're dumping fluff into the pits. He's like, if there's room in the pit, you can dump your totes in the pit. And I was like, bet, because I would much rather dump totes into a pit rather than have to move the truck 9 fucking times, dumping them out of the back of the truck at the working face or whatever, because I'd have to dump 2 out and then climb out of the fucking truck, go up to the cab, move forward, climb back in the truck, dump 2 out, walk back. It's a fucking pain in the ass. Most of the time we'll get, if there's somebody available, we'll bring somebody in to sit in the cab of the truck and move it forward. Which, I don't know, isn't a big deal. But, no, I'm going to get there at 2 o'clock today. It took me an hour to offload last time because I dumped off, I think, 4 totes out of 18. I dumped 4 of them off, and then I ran out of room in the pit. Well, not room in the pit, but they kept falling in the same spot, so they were kind of piled up, and I couldn't get another one out all the way. So then I had to climb out of the truck and move to another spot, and I got like 6. No, I got like 8 of them off into the pit strategically. And then I just moved forward a couple of times and dumped the rest of them out on the ground. And then the boss showed up. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, I talked to my buddy. He said dump them in the pit. If I can get them in the pit, put them in the pit." He's like, "God damn it, this is gonna be a pain in the ass." I'm like, "Okay, I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't give a shit, dude. Like, I'm gonna do it the easiest way I could do it, no matter what. No matter what the fuck you say, dude. Like, you're a liquid pit. This is liquid. You guys should be open. You want to stay closed? Well, you're gonna have fucking a pile of fucking shit." Anyways, that motherfucker called me on my way into work, like 5:30 in the morning. He's like, "Man, I just got done fucking with your totes. Those were a big pain in the ass." I'm like, "It's 5:30 in the morning. You're already done fucking with them." They couldn't have been that big of a pain in the ass. I mean, you have an excavator. Poke them. Stab into them, and they'll fucking pop. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What the fuck was that? Jesus, people out here in Des Moines don't know how to fucking drive. I'll tell you that. The people in Des Moines suck at driving. Come out to Des Moines. Des Moines. Des Moines, Iowa. And if you want to see some fucking idiot drivers, come out to Des Moines, Iowa. Tell you what, these people, I mean, there's people everywhere that don't know how to drive, but out here, I'll tell you what, the on-ramp situation out here is fucking insane. They just basically launch people out into traffic. There's not a very long on-ramp. Once you get up next to the highway, like usually you can like be like in your own lane along the highway, and then eventually you can merge in. Not out here. Des Moines and Nebraska, they're in, yeah, Des Moines and Nebraska. They just launch your ass out into fucking traffic. It's like, yeah, you're coming into traffic, you'll figure it out. I don't know, but this person had plenty of time. They were way ahead of me. They had plenty of time to just hit the fucking throttle. I was letting off my throttle, and they could have fucking merged on and fucking hit the throttle. But no, they decided to stop on the on ramp as I'm passing. I had a truck to the left of me. I had nowhere to go. I did go. I did see it was an old lady. She's still back there. She's scared to get close to me now, which I'd rather you just be scared of me. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Stay the fuck back there. Don't get fucking near me. Learn to merge or stay the fuck away. That's where I'm at. Anyways, I'll get there an hour earlier today, and I'm gonna do my best to do that all week long. Even though I had to stop twice on my way in, I didn't plan on stopping at all, other than to get fuel like once on the way back. But I already burned up probably 30 minutes of stoppage time, 15 minutes each, going into a store getting some shit. But, so technically I could have been there probably fucking closer to 1 if I didn't have fucking medical problems right now. Anyways, back to dirt bike stuff. Oh, man. let's see, what do I got in the Amazon cart? You know, what's in my list? My list. Come on now. My list. I got a Nelson Rig Trails in fender bag, front fender bag. I'm going to put it on the rear fender, but it's cool. It's got like little adjustable straps that have little clips on them. And then I got headlights. It's I'm thinking about swapping out headlights just because that's pretty much, other than the yellow fenders on the side. I need to repaint those and get those making look them a little bit better. But the headlight is the last thing that makes the bike look old as fuck because it's a yellow sealed glass headlight beam or whatever. So I was looking at 4x6 headlights, and pretty much any of them. I'm gonna have to splice in a new connector probably, no matter what I do. But um, you can buy, there's a couple you can buy single 4x6 headlights, and those are super fucking common. Grand Nationals, Chevy trucks, a lot of Chevy trucks. 80s and early 90s. They had the split 4x6 headlights. A lot of semis, Peterbilt, Kenworths, even more than that. Camaros, like, I don't know. 4x6 headlight used to be very, very popular on everything, and that's what they decided to go with on the DR650. So pretty much any 4x6 headlight, I can probably get it to mount. It'll probably mount pretty easy. I don't know, but they all take a little bit of a different connector. Some of them have different light bulbs that you can swap out, but this one's a 4x6-inch LED headlight, DOT approved. It's got high beam, low beam, and it's got like a halo, not a halo, but like a outer LED ring. It's got a bunch of different stages. I don't know how I would wire it up to where some of those stages, like, it would, for just driving around town during the daylight, I'd probably just have it like the white square, and then well, I don't know what I'd do. It would just be like the low beam headlight on, and then whenever I flip it to high beam, I'd have it turn everything on, and it should be pretty fucking bright. I got generic DR650 fucking tank protector pads, just so, like, if, I don't know, the big tank, it's just bare white, and just to kind of break that up a little bit, I got these little black pads that stick to the side. I saw a lot of people use them on the plastic tanks, but I've heard a lot about stickers and graphics and stuff not really sticking to those plastic tanks for very long, because they'll, like, fumes will seep through the tank and kind of make the stickers, bubble up or something. But the guys everybody that I've talked to about it, they say, oh no, they last. They've been on there since I bought the bike, and I haven't had any problems. I'll just make sure I prep the surface really well and stick those bitches on there. JFG Racing handguards, $30. Oh, and the the stickers are $31, and the headlights. I have to buy two fucking headlights, $60. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I might. Maybe I can talk to my uncle and see if there's a headlight. If he'd be interested in the other one, maybe I can cut that cost in half. He'll buy one, I'll buy the other. And then the fender bag is $36. Um, but I got these white. They got like a bigger. They got like an additional like cover to make them a little bit more wind resistant for the hand guards. It's removable, but they're just white, and then they have a black insert behind them. I don't know if you're going to go faster than me. You probably will, but I don't want to be. I don't want to be passed on the right. So you're going to have to pass me on the left, bud. So I don't have too much in the cart, and I can afford everything But I just don't know if that's the route I want to go yet. Like I've already did a lot of modifications to the bike. I'm gonna kind of leave it alone for right now, maybe. The fender bag would be ideal. I want it. I want to put it on the rear fender. I don't really want to get rid of my luggage rack, but it would be kind of cool to get rid of the luggage rack. That was another thing I was looking at was rear fender. I guess Warp 9 and some other companies, they make a like a motocross rear fender for the DR 650s that will bolt right up, and the side panels will match up and everything. Um, they're just straighter because right now my rear fender goes flat and then it curves down, and then the tail light's right there. These other ones, it's basically a straight shot back, and then it's got an LED brake light, and then you can mount your blinkers to the sides of it or whatever. I do like those. I would love to get those, but I don't know. Part of me is thinking it is a DR 650. Let's keep it looking like a DR 650. If I want it to look like a motocross bike, I ought to just get a DRZ. But man, I mean, just with a little bit more paint, a couple more little tasteful mods, I might paint the rims. My uncle said you're just gonna scratch them up. Well, yeah, probably. He's like, he's got powder coated blue wheels on his Yamaha, and he's like, yeah, I got a little blue Sharpie. I got to clean it up every now and again. I'm like, yeah, well, I could do the same. They sell black Sharpies. I'll paint I'll prep them really good. I'll scrub them down with some uh, steel wool or whatever, and then alcohol, and clean them up real good, and then. But I already got the tires on there, so I don't know if I will. I don't know what I'll do. Probably just masking tape over the tires. I I don't want to paint the fucking tires, but yeah, I don't know. I'm like I could put masking tape around all the spokes, and then in the valve stem. Like I can even take the nut off the valve stem and everything, tape everything up nice and clean, and then just spin it and paint those fucking rims black. Because I think black rims look fucking sick. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, maybe I will leave the spokes uncovered and I'll paint the spokes too. Or they sell spoke covers. I could get black spoke covers, but I don't know. That would just make it look fucking weird, maybe, because the spokes are already like thick. I don't know. And then if one pops off, I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe I will paint them. I'm not going to paint the hub. If anything, that's probably what I would end up doing is taping the hub off and then just painting the spokes. But I think black rims on my bike would look fucking sick. And then even that, if I decide to keep that rear guard or luggage rack, I'll paint that black too. Yeah, everything's gonna get scratched, but I can just repaint it later on and give me something to do. And I do kind of like they sell frame protectors or frame covers. They look pretty cool. Um, I just don't know. I don't know if I can justify spending money on a little piece of shit. That I don't know. A lot of people run them. They do look. They make the bike look newer or whatever, but I don't know. I'm kind of in between making the bike look new and keeping it nostalgic, and uh, I don't know. There's so much more. I got to leave room for improvement because the next time I get a wild hair up my ass, instead of like changing the entire bike and buying all new this and all new that, just do a little bit at a time. I guess I did a pretty big jump with tires and muffler and whatnot, but I love that fucking bike so much. I cannot wait. I'm on my way home now. I got 3 hours until I get to the landfill. It is 11:15 now, so uh, about 2 o'clock I'll be getting to the landfill. Take an hour to offload. 3 o'clock, leave the landfill. Half hour to the shop, and to get like everything parked and put away. I could potentially be home by like 4:30 at the latest, and that'll leave me plenty of time to hop on the old DR and take it around the block a couple of times, test it out, listen to the sound of it. I really, because I haven't really revved it up. I just fired it up with the choke on just to hear it and to check for leaks. It's loud, man. It's loud. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do in the mornings whenever I fire that thing up. I'm gonna be waking up neighbors. They're like, "Damn, that thing is loud as shit." You know, my old muffler was pretty fucking quiet. I don't know. Let it be loud. Sounds fucking cool. Some people ride Harleys to work, and they got a V twin thump. You know, fuck 'em. I got a fucking dirt bike. It's not. It's loud, but it ain't that loud, and I ain't gonna rev the shit out of it going down the road. But whenever it starts doing that cutout thing, that's the other thing I got to watch out for. Is my uncle even mentioned it. He's like, "You're getting a new muffler," and he's like, "You might have to rejet it." I'm like, "Yeah, I might have to. It might be running rich now. I don't know. I don't know what more free flowing muffler. I don't know what that's going to do to the do to everything. It should have more power technically, because that old muffler was super fucking restrictive. Like, just imagine that piston is pushing all that exhaust through the exhaust valve into the muffler, and then the muffler is restrictive as shit. It's like, so it should technically, the engine should be a way happier with less back pressure on the muffler. It's still going to have a little bit of back pressure, but not much. Back pressure is good though. You don't want to have too little back pressure. That thing will. But I'm hoping for better throttle response. Even though I don't know. Some people say, "Oh, doing a muffler adds no power or anything." Like, yeah, maybe the like other bikes that have decent mufflers from the factory, adding another muffler, it's not going to really change much. But I don't know, man. This DR, if you look up the 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 inside of a DR 650 stock muffler, you'd be shocked at how many baffles and you know like how the exhaust has to exit those fucking things. And this one, yeah, it's a straight fucking hole. It's got a little bit of packing, in there, but for the most part, it's a straight shot out. And the new mid pipe is completely empty and blank. There's nothing in there. And then the header pipe, it used to have a big weld. Apparently, they weld it whenever they weld the flange on that bolts to the head. From the factory, the machine or whatever. I don't know if they use the machine or they just have a guy welding them. I don't know. But those stock header pipes, there's usually a big booger weld in there. And a lot of people grind it down. You're not taking any structure away. You're just grinding down a little bit more of this booger weld, opens it up a little bit more and helps it flow better. That's already been done to my bike. So, and then other than that, there's a heat shield mounted to it, but I think it's a straight shot through also. There are some companies that sell a header for the bike that have like a little expansion chamber, not like a two-stroke, but it's just got like another little chamber where it opens up a little bit. And I don't know, I think my uncle has that one on his, but that will also kind of help change the pitch of the sound. I don't know what it does, but I don't know what it changes going from like 1.5-inch pipe to 2-inch pipe, and then directly back to 1.5-inch pipe, then into a muffler. I don't know. But I'm super where this muffler is mounted and everything. The side panel is now there's a big gap in between the muffler and the side panel, which I don't mind. But I don't know, it looks so much better. Like that old muffler is like 20 pounds or something, and this new one is like 3, maybe 5 pounds with the mid pipe and everything. It's a big weight reduction, but I don't know. They're like, oh, I'm going to do a weight reduction, and then they throw a big ass case full of tools on the back end, and it's like, yeah, you did a weight reduction, but then you got more tools in there than that muffler weighed on there. It's like, I don't know, weight reduction shit doesn't really make sense to me. I'm not going to use that as an excuse or a benefit. Oh, it's got a weight reduction, dude. My fat ass is on that fucking thing. If I have my backpack on with me too, like I'm just adding all that weight right there and high. So I don't know. The weight reduction thing isn't. I don't think is a super benefit, but the more free flowing muffler is definitely a benefit. It's gotta be a benefit. I cannot wait to ride that motherfucking thing. Um, After I cleaned the carb out, whenever it was filling the case full of fuel, I did it once. After I cleaned that carb out, it's like I didn't really clean it super well. It wasn't all that dirty, but there was a little piece of plastic stuck in there that I'm sure was restricting a little bit of fuel. I don't know. Or maybe just me taking it off and fucking with it and then putting it back. I don't know. But it seems like it's got a little bit more pep to it after cleaning the carb, to where like I've done wheelies leaving stoplights. Like usually I don't roast the clutch, but I ride that clutch off the line quite a bit. But if I let out a little bit too fast, I mean that thing's taking off in a wheelie, or I'll shift into second. But I speed shift into second sometimes. I still use the clutch, but a lot of times I don't let off the throttle. I mean, I'm first pinned, and then I let off a little bit, but I don't let off the throttle all the way. I clutch it, it revs up, but I'm clutching and shifting it right at the same time, and then I'm dumping the clutch, and it'll do another wheelie, or not, or that's where I've done wheelies is a first to second shift into a little wheelie, nothing crazy, but I've noticed after I clean the carb, I've done that more often now. Maybe I'm getting more comfortable with the bike. I don't know. But I'm wondering if now it should have a little bit more. I definitely didn't decrease the power with the new muffler. I'm wondering if that thing's gonna want to, I'm gonna have to really be easier on it, or this thing might get away from me, or it'll just teach me to do wheelies way easier. I won't have to use as much body force. You want to sit like on the tank, and then as you pop the clutch and take off, scoot back, and then it should pop that front wheel up pretty fucking easy. Now I've popped big wheelies before on purpose, dumping the clutch and stuff, going slow in first gear. But I don't know, that second gear wheelie, whenever those have happened, where I'm just too quick on the clutch and shift, and I'm not letting off the throttle. Those ones, they get you. They sneak up on you. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm like, back when I first got the bike, you could rip that thing as hard as you wanted, and that thing was not going to pick up the front wheel unless you dumped the clutch off the line. And I did that once when I was drag racing. And I think that's a video. I think that's on one of the videos. If you go to my YouTube channel, and go to the DR650 stuff playlist or whatever, the group ride, which I think is my second video on there, uh, or maybe ride with Grandpa. I don't know. It's one of those. Probably, I think it was ride with Grandpa because we went to. I think those were the same day. I was riding with my uncle and my brother all around town, and then my grandpa wanted to ride, so we went up to his place. Then we went out riding, and he took us up north, way up north somewhere. There's a big, long, empty stretch of road that's just full of graffiti. There's no traffic. There's nothing there. There's a big bypass, so it's just a big empty road that's not closed for some reason. And we were doing a drag race, and they were like, "Yeah, who do you think's gonna win?" And my uncle was on his SVJ 600. My brother was on his Suzuki 600, whatever the fuck it was. I don't even know what his street bike is. And I was on the DR 650, and my grandpa was on his scooter. And he rides the fuck out of that scooter, I'll tell you that. I mean, obviously he was still slower than anybody else, but well, I don't think he was raced on there. I don't think he raced on there, but whenever we were just trying to follow him around, like he was scooting that motherfucker. It was like I was slowing down for corners and stuff, and he was just meow flying around corners. Obviously, my uncle was the fastest. He's the most capable on a motorcycle. My brother Kenny, he should have been faster than me, but he's just too light. He's not. Doesn't seem like he's very comfortable, doing crazy shit on a bike, especially like a drag race from a dig. And then me, I dumped that fucking clutch and I took off into a crazy wheelie. I let off, and then Kenny got past me, and then I ripped back into it, and I don't know. He let me win, is what he did, because there's no way his 600 street bike is slower than my fucking 99 DR 650. But super excited about it. As you can probably tell, I'm really glad I'm feeling better. My tooth kind of quit hurting on me. Hopefully it doesn't act up again, and I can go back to just being a happy guy. That's usually what happens when my teeth hurt. I just let them hurt for a little bit, and then they feel better, and then I'm fine. But I haven't had a toothache this bad in so long. Now that I'm talking about it, I can feel it. But I don't know. I'm gonna have to stop for fuel somewhere along the line. I'm at a quarter tank. I got a little bit more I can go before I need to stop. And yeah, so I've been looking at used 50 cc's. I don't know. Really want to get my son a dirt bike really bad. So his electric dirt bike, I don't know what's going on with that thing. My new battery charger was saying that his battery was bad. It was a bad battery. But it charged it up once, and it was fine. And then I guess we let it die. I think somebody left it on, and then I pulled it out over the weekend, and it said it was a bad battery. And I was like, all right, that's fucking weird. So I just plugged it into the normal Razer charger and let it charge up, and it charged up. And I got my little new multimeter, and shit, I mean, that thing fucking, it said it had like 13.8 volts to it. I guess it's a 14 volt battery. I don't know. But it charged it up, and my son, it's been kind of rainy this weekend, so he was just riding around in the garage, but he's starting to get his balance. If he doesn't have to pedal, he's starting to get his balance. So I was kind of worried. I'm like, well, maybe this is a good thing. maybe I shouldn't, after watching him on that little fucking electric bike scooting around in the garage or whatever, and it's got the throttle on that thing, it's all or none. It's just like a on and off switch. There's no progression to the throttle. It's kind of sucks. But luckily it's got some sort of a speed controller where it doesn't just give it all the juice all at once. You got to kind of work. It slowly feeds it juice, and then it'll start going. He doesn't have much room to go, but he was riding basically from corner to corner in the garage, uh, pretty good. So I'm like, all right, if I get him a 50cc, I'm gonna, maybe I will get training wheels, but we're gonna try it without training wheels first. And if he's got this dirt bike, he can ride it in the backyard, because that little electric dirt bike ain't gonna do shit in the grass. Like, it's not good in the grass at all. But if I can bring him in the backyard, he can do laps around the backyard, and it's got a little throttle controller on there where he can only give it a little bit of throttle. But put that on there, he can actually ride in the grass, start working on his balance. He can ride in the front yard. I'll let him ride up and down the street. I'll go with him. But yeah, I'm thinking training wheels. I was thinking training wheels was the way to go for the longest time. The more I'm thinking about it now, and that thing's got a handbrake. That's the other thing he had to kind of get used to, because his bicycle just has, you pedal backwards. And then that's how you brake. So I was kind of worried he wasn't going to realize, he's not used to using a handbrake. But on that little dirt bike, he was using the handbrake just fine. So I'm like, all right, we're going to get him a 50cc, no training wheels, set the throttle pretty low, and I'm going to just sit him in the backyard and just watch him go around in circles a bunch of times until he eventually has his feet up the whole time. Obviously, he's going to be geared up and everything. He can still get away from you. Hopefully, he doesn't run through the fence or something. I don't want to have to fix a fence or a shed or his face. I don't know. I don't know what could break. It'll be a mystery whenever we get to that point. But he's definitely going to fall a couple of times. Hopefully, he doesn't fall in dog shit. Maybe we will just go to the front yard and let him do laps in the front yard. I don't care about the yard. But I'm so pumped. And then also taking him over to my uncle's house. I've been over to my uncle's house quite a bit, but he hasn't been there that often. We rode four-wheelers once over there, but he said he doesn't remember it for some reason. But I think it's about time, because I was starting to look at used four-wheelers. I'm like, all right, maybe not even training wheels. Maybe just get him a four-wheeler. Get him something that I'm not going to have to help him. Like, we can actually go out on a trail, and I'm not gonna have to worry about him balancing and falling over and whatnot. He'll just be on a four-wheeler. It'll have enough power to do what it needs to do, and that's where I was at. But now I'm like, dude, you got to get a dirt bike. You got to learn a dirt bike. I think learning a dirt bike will help you even more on a four-wheeler. You don't need balance on a four-wheeler, but you kind of do. You got to know where to shift your body weight. And the best way to learn how to shift your body weight is to get on a fucking bike. Well, I guess it's totally different on a four-wheeler, because you want to. I don't know. I'm probably just talking out my ass right now, but eventually we'll get a four-wheeler. I'm thinking we'll start off with a dirt bike with my son, and then maybe for my daughter's 6th or 7th birthday, we'll get her a four-wheeler, and then we'll upgrade his 50cc to a 110cc by the time he's 8 or 9. And that would be pretty fucking cool. But they sell. This is where it's kind of weird, and I didn't even really put it together, because I've never had a 50cc or really looked into them as much as I have here recently. But Honda sells a CRF 50, a CRF 70, a CRF 80, I think they even have a 90, and then they got they got 100s, but I think they're mainly 110s. Then 125s. I don't think they have a 150. I think it just goes to 200, and then 220, 250, 300. I don't know. There's so many different sizes. I mean, it's pretty cool that they have so many different sizes, so you can progress and you can skip a couple if you want to. But they do have like slow progression if you want to. I mean, they just got all different kinds of bikes and different sizes, but mainly in the pit bike situation, uh, 50cc to 125cc are like pit bikes, um, and I don't know. I don't know if they allow a 125 as a pit bike. I don't. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are to a pit bike. A 125 is normally just a full size bike. A pit bike is usually like an oversized, like a lifted frame with a small engine. And I thought they needed to be like 50 cc's, like that's what they allowed in the pits. But maybe there is no restriction, and it just depends on where you're at. I don't know. I don't know. But I've been on some groups, and people are like, "Oh, I got a CRF 70." Did I say 80 earlier? I don't know. They got a 70 and an 80. I don't know. Maybe those are just bored out. They bore out a 50cc and it makes a 70, and they bore it out a little bit more and it makes it an 80. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I am just fucked up. If you know, maybe tell me. Otherwise, I'll look it up later whenever I got some time. you know, because I've been looking at pit bikes, and there's people selling 110s or 90s or 80s, 70s. But I'm like, I just want a 50cc. Just want a 50cc. Technically, he can ride that on the road if it's under 49 cc, or 50 cc's or below, or whatever it's got to be. He can ride it on the road, and shouldn't have too many problems. But maybe it kind of falls under like moped law or whatever. But I don't know. I mean, he's not going to be riding it on the road, really. But like in my neighborhood, it would be kind of cool if we could just ride it up and down the road and not have to worry about cops fucking with us. But cops are always going to fuck with you no matter what, even if you're. Oh, I was just checking to see if you're following the law. And, after I got you sitting here for 10, 15, 20 minutes, all right, we've just decided you haven't broke the law. Have a good day. It's like, all right, well, now you just wasted 20 minutes of my fucking ride time to see if I was breaking the law, and I'm not. But I sat here and had a fucking conversation with you fucking guy for no fucking reason. I mean, that hasn't really happened. But, that's just one thing that bothers me about, like, like if you get pulled over and they're like, yeah, I wasn't sure if you were wearing your seatbelt or not. It's like, yep, wearing my seatbelt. And then they sit there and have a 30-minute conversation with you, waste your fucking time. And they're like, all right, you're free to go. Have a good day. It's like, oh, thanks for thanks for just wasting my time. Is what some of I mean, they could write you a ticket, but I don't know. It's just, I don't like getting stopped by the police. I mean, I'm always nice and respectful because any attitude is not going to get you anything during the traffic stop. But I don't like being stopped and checked. And then, I don't like getting tickets, but it's like I also just don't want to get stopped. There's one day I was driving my Suburban. It had the 20-inch rims on it, chrome rims, tinted windows. Is burgundy in and burgundy outside. It was fucking a baller fucking truck, and maybe that was the reason. I don't know. But I was driving. I just left the car wash. I just waxed it and vacuumed it out and got it all nice and neat. I had the windows down and the radio up, and I was crawling through this little town. not little town, big town, downtown of the big town. But and then all of a sudden I was in a work zone and they had the road all ripped up and there's dust everywhere. And I was like, God damn it. And I'm trying to drive slow and I'm trying to like swerve. They had like little, it was dusty, but there was still water on the ground. I was trying to like swerve all the mud and water and dirt. And then a cop got behind me and he pulled me over and he's like, yeah, I just saw you swerving back there. I'm like, yeah, I just got my fucking truck completely detailed and I didn't realize that you guys were doing construction over here and now I'm kind of stuck and I have to drive through it. He's like, okay, I was just checking to see. I'm like, hey, how about you leave me the fuck alone, man? I don't know. Maybe that's not a good comparison. Never got a ticket in that truck. But yeah, I looked like I was a fucking. I looked like I was in the hood. We're driving that fucking thing around. 20-inch chrome rims, clean truck, clean on the inside, clean on the outside. Fucking bumping, but I was bumping fucking country or fucking Hank 3 or I don't know, classic rock or something. I did bump a little bit of fucking beats in that truck. I was embracing the fucking G ride of that fucking thing. Rode like a goddamn Cadillac. It was a good truck. I don't know. I wish I would have just put new tires because I bought new tires for the 20-inch rims, but not new tires. I bought slightly used tires for it, and then I could not get them balanced, and it was because the metal bands that go through those tires, they were Bridgestones or I don't know. They were a nice ass tire. They were off road or like all terrain, and I I don't know. I had them installed and things were fine, and then it just slowly like the truck was shaking apart. It felt like it was like, what the fuck is going on? Turns out those tires were bad, and the idiots at the tire shop don't know how to fucking tell if tires are bad. They just slap on a pound of weight on your fucking tire, and they're like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. I can't balance these fucking things. Like, oh well, maybe it's the used fucking tires. I know they look new, but uh eventually, I just sold those rims and tires as a set, and I bought some old fucking stock wheels, stock Chevy wheels, threw them on there, and then I had to buy new tires for those because those ones were going bad. Um, and then the fucking idiots at the tire shop this time, they were like, your lug nuts are bad. I'm like, huh? They're like, your lug nuts are bad. They're wore out. I'm like, the fuck they are? Like, put the fucking new tires on that I just bought and put the fucking wheels on and let me get the fuck out of here. And then they had their fucking boss come out and he's like, I can't let you leave with your tires like that, or with your lug nuts being wore out. I'm like, my do I look like a fucking idiot to you? My lug nuts are wore out. Put the fucking lug nuts back on the goddamn truck and let me leave. He's like, we legally we can't do that. I'm like, you motherfuckers. And they had me in a bind. They were holding my truck hostage. They wouldn't put the fucking lug nuts back on. They're like, the only way you can leave is if you buy new lug nuts. I'm like, you motherfucker. All right, fine. Go buy fucking, or yeah, go. I'll buy the lug nuts. What the fuck ever. Uh, they went to 4 different O'Reilly stores. They didn't even have fucking lug nuts. And they went to 4 different O'Reilly stores, and they came back with some mismatched fucking lug nuts. Some of them were the screw type. Some of them were just the hole type. Some of them were chrome capped, and they were mismatched. And in order to put the center caps, which I had the center caps, in order to put the center caps on those fucking rims, you have to have the see-through lug nuts or the hole, the lug nuts that are shallow with the hole in them, so the stud can poke through and then you can fit the fucking caps on. And they didn't have enough, so I could only put the front lug nut caps on the front tires. And I was like, you should have put them on one side or the other side, so at least one side of my truck would look normal. And the truck just looked like fucking shit, and I should have just bought new lug nuts, and then it would have been a little bit better. But I was very upset with that truck at the time. It also was missing a couple of teeth on the flywheel. It wasn't the starter. I took the starter off several times. It wasn't the starter was fine. It was the fucking flywheel was missing a couple of teeth. So every now and again, you had to bump the starter a few times in order for it to grab and turn and then turn the truck on. It was a TBI 350. Ran really good. It was really clean. There was only one little spot of rust by the muffler. Um, Other than that, it was a really clean truck. No dents, no dings, no scratches. Beautiful burgundy paint, beautiful burgundy interior with the full center console, in super comfortable captain's chairs. The whole back end, like it still had like the inspection little tags inside the um cigarette outlets or cigarette ashtrays inside the door. That was back when they used to do that. But it was a 95, so it had the old TBI engine, but it had the updated interior. But I also didn't have the passenger side airbag. It had like the little cutout where there were some cup holders that don't hold cups. But I put a new radio in that thing. I never put subs in there or new speakers or anything. It's just stock, but I did have an upgraded radio in there, and it was a really nice truck. But after after I took the 20s off, I kind of fell out of love with it. I was like, this thing is just a gas hog, looks like shit. And all I really needed to do was get new lug nuts for it. But I sold it. I said, I'm tired of this truck. I'm selling this. So I sold the Suburban. I bought it for $3,000. I think I sold it for $2,500. It had almost 300,000 miles on it, but it was super fucking clean. But yeah, I couldn't really justify selling it for much more than that. I'm not a good negotiator, so I put it to a non-negotiable price. I was like, $2,500 is what it's selling for, no matter what anybody says. So sold it. What did I buy? That's when I took out a loan. I planned on taking the money from that Suburban, the $2,500, and finding a Jeep Cherokee with a 4.0 and a 4-speed or 5-speed or whatever, 4-wheel drive Jeep Cherokee. YJ or Z, I don't know what the fuck Jeep fucking build codes are or whatever the fuck that shit means, but the regular old boxy fucking Jeep Cherokee. I wanted to find one with a 4.0 and a 4-speed with 4-wheel drive, 444, you know. And then my wife, she's like, I want you to get something nice though. I'm like, I bet you do, but I don't have enough money to do that. She's like, why don't you take out a loan? Like, I never thought about taking out a loan. I had never taken out a loan for anything ever in my entire life. I borrowed money from people, but that was about it, you know. So I went to a bank and got a loan for $14,000 or something like that, and I found that's when I bought my 2006 GMC Sierra Crew Cab Z71 short bed 4-wheel drive leather interior. The only thing it was missing was the sunroof, and anything more than that, it would have been the Denali or whatever. But I didn't want a Denali. I'm not a big fan of the front ends of the Denalis or whatever. But the 2006 GMC Sierra, the front end of that truck, that truck looks so fucking good, especially if you paint match some stuff and make it get rid of some of the chrome and whatnot. Cat Eye Chevy is what I was really going for, but there at this dealership when I went there to buy it, they had a red Cat Eye Chevy and the white GMC Sierra sit next to each other. Both of them were 2006. Both of them crew cab, both of them leather, both of them same price. Both of them had close to 200,000 miles on them. But the red Chevy looked like a kid had it and was fucking around with it a whole bunch. So I was like, I don't know. That thing looks like it's been used and abused. The white GMC, first off, the front end looks so good on it compared to the. I never really even looked at GMC trucks like that until I looked at this one. I was always a Chevy fan, even against GMCs. I was like, I'm for Chevy. But I was like, damn, that front end looks pretty fucking good. I did a quick Amazon search for headlights and grills and other shit, and I was like, yeah, I can make this fucking work. So I bought the 2006 GMC Sierra. When I test drove it, it had one of them limited slip differentials. The thing would do burnouts at every fucking stoplight. I'd have that fucking thing sideways. And I was like, I'm buying this. This is my fucking truck right now. So I bought it. Immediately the same day I bought it, I had to get a new windshield put in it, but they deducted some off the price for that. I got it tinted. I bought rims from a buddy that had tires on them. Put those on the truck. I had to buy new lug nuts because those rims took a special lug nut. And the KC Rim Shop, I don't know if it's KC Rim Shop or who it was, but whatever shop that was gave me lug nuts for free. I thought that was so cool of them. But anyways, put the wheels on there. I guess, I don't know, there was a couple of days that I knew that was the truck I was getting or something. I ordered a rough country lift kit or level kit for it, a 2-inch leveling kit, front and rear. That showed up that night that I got the truck. I put the wheels and tires on it. The leveling kit showed up. Me and my buddy Tyler immediately went down to his dad's house and put the level lift kit on the truck. Drove it back. The next morning, I had an appointment to buy new tires for the truck. So I got Nitto Terra Grappler G2s or whatever. And then the truck was just like a totally different truck in like 24 hours. It was a stock GMC Sierra, had the front rake or the rear rake on it, stock wheels, see-through windows, just grandpa looking stock truck, nothing special about it. And in 24 hours, that thing had a lift kit, wheels, tires, tint. It looked fucking sick, and I was not done with it at all. I immediately went to the auto shop or whatever, or the parts store. I bought a bunch of paint. I bought white paint. I bought black paint, and I took the front grill off. I ordered new headlights for it, black halo headlights. Put those on. The grill got painted completely black. The front bumper, that chrome piece on the front bumper, got painted white. Put that shit back together. I bought tow mirrors for it, the newer style Chevy tow mirrors for it, with the blinkers. No, it was like this. It was like that year of tow mirror or whatever. It wasn't the nice fancy ones. I just bought they're kind of rounded. They had a couple of ribs on them or whatever. Nothing special, but they had the blinkers in them. Tow mirrors. Whenever I had it tinted, I had a brow sticker put on. It had running boards on it, but I eventually took the running boards off. Didn't like those. I debadged the whole truck. Took that chrome striping off the side. First, I painted it black, and then I just got rid of it. And the Z71 badge on the back Oh, and then I swapped out the taillights to the Chevy taillights because the GMC taillights were kind of ugly and wore. So I got Chevy taillights that made it look fucking sick. That rear bumper, I don't think I ever painted that rear bumper, but I wish I would have, or maybe I did. I don't know. It was kind of a long time ago. It's weird that I can't remember, but I don't know. That rear bumper should have been blacked out. What else did I do? I mounted it had a Rhino liner in it, and then I mounted a flagpole in the bed of the truck. Got a cheapo flagpole and bent the rod a little bit, and it was standing up perfectly straight in the back, right in the center of the bed. If you turn on the cargo lights for the rear, the third brake light or whatever, they were on either side of the flag. So at nighttime, I would drive around with my cargo light on, and you would just see that flag just blowing in the wind. It was fucking sick, dude. That truck was fucking awesome. I loved that fucking truck. But as with anything and everything, it got a little bit of wear and tear to it. The more I drove it, the more the rockers were rusting out. I painted them a couple of times, but it was starting to actually be holes in the rockers. The fenders started rusting out, front and back, all the way around. And I drove the motherfucker through a flood. I was like, oh, this is, it's a big, cool ass truck. What's this little flood gonna do or whatever? And I drove through a flood, and it sucked up a bunch of fucking water, ruined a bunch of fucking sensors. Pretty sure I got water into my transfer case. I replaced all the sensors, never really ran right after that. The intake, I did get a new intake pipe, cold air intake kit, cheapo, Amazon intake kit or whatever. I had to replace a bunch of sensors all the time. The transfer case started clicking or clacketing real bad. You could hear the chains inside that fucking thing just going crazy all the fucking time. So it started to sound like shit. I did chop off the muffler. That's another thing I did. I totally forgot to mention. I chopped off the muffler. I left the catalytic converter, but I chopped off the muffler. It was right behind the cab is where it was cut off, and I always wanted to I just needed a 90-degree bend to it, and I was going to have the exhaust be a dual dump outside the passenger side in front of the rear wheel. It sounded fucking cool. That 5.3 running just a cat, it's not too loud, but it sounds fucking mean as shit. I swapped out the grill a few times. Me and my buddy, we built one. It said USA KRO. It was like a Top Gun design. It looked really cool, but it didn't hold up to the heat. We had some of this cheap ass black plastic stuff that we got at the lumber yard, and it looked really good at the beginning, and then I bought all these bolts, and it looked pretty cool. It kind of matched the wheels, but that thing eventually was warped and fucking looked like shit. So I ditched that fucking thing, and then I just grabbed a generic mesh grill off of Amazon, threw that on there, repainted everything a couple of times. But like I said, all four corners of the fenders were rusting out, so I got some fender flares for it, just to hide the rust. And I never installed them properly, but they were on there pretty securely. It looked better, I guess, but I liked it. I liked the look of no fender flare, just clean. And I started to fall out of love with the truck again. And then the transmission went out. Just driving it one day, the transmission went out. I bought a new used transmission from a auto parts store, and I listened to somebody I shouldn't have listened to, and they're like, I know a guy that can do transmission work for you. Sent it out to the middle of nowhere to this guy's house. He had it for like a month. And every time he was like, yep, it's ready. Come on, get it. The first time I went out there to get it, I was like, where is the fucking guy? And then he came walking up the road. He's like, yeah, I forgot to tighten up some transmission lines. So it ran all out of fluid, but I shut her down. So, yep, it ain't going to be done. I'm like, okay. That was like a week later, a week after I dropped it off. I came back again, and he was, because I was just like, okay, it should be done by now. You've had 2 weeks with it now. And he said, yeah, it still ain't done. So I drove out there for no fucking reason. And then I came out there a third time, and he's like, I'll take it down if you want it. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's done. I'm like, yeah, well, you've had it for fucking 3 weeks. How long does it take to swap? You're not fixing the transmission. You're taking the old one out and putting a new one in. Like, how long does that fucking take, man? And anyways, I mean, I don't know. He was cheap, but that's what you get when you go for cheap. After I got it back from him, I had a fucking Christmas tree worth of lights on the dash. It kept saying my airbags had blown out. My seat sensor shit wasn't fucking working. It was just like I had sensor issues with it. Oh, and then the shifter, like is automatic. That shifter to shift it from park to drive was so fucking stiff. And the guy just kept saying, oh, yeah, all those lights will turn off. It's got a learning computer. You got to drive it for a little bit. All those lights will turn off. And that shifter, yeah, it's got a new shift cable, so eventually that'll loosen up. No, it never fucking loosened up. None of the lights ever went away. I was very dissatisfied with the service that I would receive from that fucking idiot. The transmission worked, but it still had the clackety fucking transfer case, and it was starting to rust out. And I was always chasing sensors. I was like, all right, today I'm gonna swap out this sensor. I just kept throwing money at the fucking thing. And my wife had just got pregnant too, so I was like, I need to get something that's reliable. Which is kind of funny to say now, but I was like, I need to get me a reliable car, just get me something safe. And I had heard from a friend or a family friend that they had a Chevy Cruze and they got T-boned, and they said that Chevy Cruze is a tough-ass car. It saved our lives. So I said, cool. You just made up my mind, and I started looking at Chevy Cruzes. I found one that was a 6-speed manual at CarMax. So I took my Chevy truck, or my GMC, that I still owed a lot of money on. I took it to CarMax and immediately traded it in on this Chevy Cruze. So now I still owed money on the Chevy, and the Cruze was about $10,000. So I ended up owing, it was like 17 grand on this fucking Chevy Cruze. And as soon as I bought it, that's when I decided to start going to Chevy Cruze groups on Facebook. So now if you ever want to buy a new car or get something different, find the group that talks about that vehicle on Facebook, join the group, and just scroll through it, search for the problems people are having with them. Because if I'd have known how many problems people were having with Chevy Cruzes, I would have never fucking bought that goddamn car. For the amount that I bought that car, I could have bought something way fucking better. It got good gas mileage. It lasted. It was okay, but a car seat does not fit in the back of it. We had to put the single car seat in the middle of the seats, and then I still couldn't lean back as far as I wanted to. With forward facing or rear facing car seats. Forward facing, you got a little bit more room. It had a water pump leak. I had a new water pump put on with insurance through CarMax or whatever. It immediately started leaking again, but it never overheated, so I just drove it. It had an oil leak. It had all kinds of other sensors go bad. The window was bad. The AC went out. uh, and it was just a cheap ass. It was a base model since it was manual. It didn't have anything else going for it, and it was just a cheap ass little car that just always had problems. I mean, it always fired up. It always ran. Sometimes it would die, coming to a stop. But I don't know. Do I wish I still had it? No. I'm so glad I sold it. It was sometimes it was fun to drive it. Sometimes it was fun to drive it. Um, do e-brake slides and fucking reverse donuts and shit like that. But that thing was, I mean, I almost totaled that thing a couple of fucking times. There's one time I had completely bald tires, and I was like, oh well, I'm gonna put the tires. I'm gonna do a rotation. I'm gonna swap the rear tires to the front tires because the rear tires I always did burnouts with it, so the front tires were completely bald. I put the bald tires on the back and the grippy tires on the front that still had a little bit of tread. And I was driving in the rain one day, and I came over this bridge, and the people were going so slow, and it hadn't rained in a while, so there's still like a lot of road grime and shit. It was super fucking slick out, and I came over this hill at an angle, and the ass end of the fucking Chevy Cruze came out from underneath, and I did uh, a full 360 and then a side to side, like taking up all four lanes of this highway. Woo, woo, woo! Like, it was a scary fucking deal. I was just driving. I was like, I just need to get to work. I was going to work on a Saturday, and I came over this fucking hill and 360, slide all the way across four lanes twice. Didn't hit a wall, didn't hit anything. Everybody slowed down. I got back in the center lane. Luckily, I was still going the same way I was trying to go, and I just turned the radio all the way off and then drove to work the rest. I was like, holy fuck. I almost fucking just crashed this fucking thing. And I think I had a podcast at the time too. So I think I talked about it in a podcast, but I mean, I've talked about it several times, but about that Chevy Cruze, I painted the fucking hubcaps because I thought it would look better with black hubcaps. I debadged the whole thing, and then found out that if you take the Chevy emblem off of the fucking trunk, there's a little coin slot behind there. So I had to put another badge over that. I should have just put the Chevy badge back on there, but I put a little American flag sticker on the back, or badge sticker thing, double-sided tape deal on there, and then that faded real bad. I painted that little chrome strip on the trunk. I put mud flaps on it because it looked like a little rally car. When I first bought it, I put some white and blue stripes on it because it was a bright red car, so it was red, white, and blue. Those looked pretty fucking gay, not gonna lie. So those didn't last very long. Looked pretty fucking gay, but I did get the whole thing tinted and put a brow in it. That's what I did with every car I had up until here recently. I haven't tinted a car in a while. I've thought about getting my 92 tinted, but I don't know. There's something about a non-tinted Chevy truck, like, OBS Chevy, that just driving down the road looks kind of. As soon as you tint it, it looks like it's a piece of shit. I don't know why. It just looks like somebody's been running the shit. I mean, the thing looks like a piece of shit right now, so I don't know what I'm saying, but I don't know if I'm going to tint the windows in the Chevy truck. I might. If I do, it'll be a super light tint, just to kind of make it feel a little bit more better or something. I got to stop and get fuel, man. I'm running out of fuel right here. Says there's another truck stop right up here. I know I can get in. It says there's a Casey's up here, but if I take it just 3 more miles down the road, I'll know I get to a truck stop I can get to. I've been up to this place before. but it's like a normal gas station. You could get your truck in there, but it's just a normal fucking gas station, so I don't want to go in there. I'm very low on fuel. I've been talking this whole time. So I'm going to let you guys go. Hopefully I don't run out of fuel. Adios. Keep all 18 down. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.